What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video on the channel, and today we got some Detroit Lions training camp news as we're going to be going over some players standing out, including two rookie receivers, plus some news on the offensive line and more in particular the center battle, also players standing out in the secondary and on the defensive line, and also an update on the Detroit Lions and Dan Campbell's new coordinators, as they will be breaking in new offensive and defensive coordinators this season. So let's go ahead and get right into it here, and we'll first start with the new coordinators. It's one of the biggest question marks people have when discussing the Lions going into the 2025 season, as Dan Campbell, he promoted within, promoting Kelvin Shepherd, and also hired John Morton to replace their offensive coordinator Ben Johnson. And according to Colton Pouncey of The Athletic, he said that you can see it in practice. Shepherd is a young and energetic, molded for the job he has after spending the last 4 seasons as an assistant on Campbell's staff. And also, Morton helped Campbell and Johnson build this offense as a senior offensive assistant in 2022 and also coached with Campbell in New Orleans. So both of them feel like Campbell guys, and obviously that has worked out in the past. And also Jared Goff, when speaking on the offense and new offensive coordinator John Morton, he said that it's been a fun challenge, and then also that in every offense there's formations, shifts, motions, routes, run plays, protections. I could keep going, cadences, ways to get in and out of the huddle. And he said a lot of the stuff we're doing in the 8 things I named is the same, and some of it's different. But he said, I think if the transition from what we were doing last year to him is a lot lesser than you guys are making it seem with the questions, I believe. So that's what Jared Goff had to say about new offensive coordinator John Morton. But let's go ahead and get into, players standing out and some takeaways from training camp so far for the Detroit Lions. Let's start with the wide receiver room, because there's been some rookie receivers that have caught some eyes, but also Jameson Williams, as he's looking to take that next step this upcoming season. And according to Colton Pouncey of The Athletic, he said that this is the best Williams has looked heading into a season, and he's got a year of production under his belt, and he's acting like it. Also, that his route running looks cleaner with fewer wasted steps. And also, according to Tim Twentyman of the Detroit Lions, a senior writer, he even did say that what's been really noticeable early in camp is his route running, and that he's making plays all over the field in camp. But also 2 rookie receivers. First one, Isaac Tesla, as this is a guy who never dropped a pass at Arkansas, catches everything with his hands, and he, has even been seen in some videos on social media making some great plays. And even on Friday, he did moss a defensive back in a one-on-one drill. And then also on the final snap of Saturday's practice, he beat a defensive back on a slot fade just short of the end zone. So he has been making a lot of plays, and this is one wide receiver that could turn into a great gem and a great pick from Brad Holmes, kind of like Amon-Ra St. Brown. His stats doesn't show it, especially when he was at Arkansas, but this is a guy that can turn into something special, especially since, it doesn't seem like he drops anything. And when you got a quarterback like Jared Goff, I mean, he's going to put that ball in there where he can catch it. Lions already got Amon-Ra St. Brown, who doesn't drop many passes either. So, but another one is Dominic Lovett, the wide receiver from Georgia they picked up, the 7th round pick, as he's also been, making some plays. You can tell he's shifty, can cut on a dime, and the coaches are excited about his special teams potential. And Colton Pouncey of The Athletic did state that he would project him on the roster if he had to today. So that's a little bit on the wide receiver room. And also here so far throughout training camp, Brian Branch and Amon-Ra St. Brown at one point had to be separated, as Brian Branch has been delivering several hard hits on his teammates, and the coaches even had to take him out for a play to gather his composure. So Brian Branch still doing his thing. And also on Aiden Hutchinson, he's looking like Aiden Hutchinson again. He's moving like the guy we saw who was leading the league in sacks, and he's winning one-on-ones with regularity against the offensive line, including some reps versus Penei Sewell. And also the rookie 6th-round edge, Ahmed Hassani, did recently win a one-on-one rep using Hutchinson's signature spin move. And then Hutchinson also approached him after a recent practice and jokingly told him to stop stealing his moves. So high hopes for the Boise State product right there. And then also on the center battle, obviously Frank Ragnow having retired after 7 years in the league, Lions having to replace him now in Graham Glasgow, and then also the rookie 2nd-rounder Tate Ratledge are currently battling it out for Ragnow's old job, and both of them will be factors this year. Now Ratledge is an athletic mauler who could replace Ragnow at the center position, and then also Jared Goff in Glasgow could also help him with the calls at the line. And Ratledge did get the bulk of the center snaps the first few days of practice, although Glasgow did handle the work in recent days, according to Colton Pouncey of The Athletic. And also on the defensive line, a little bit more here, Tyleik Williams, the Ohio State product that the Lions did draft in the 1st round, he has been with the starting defense for almost every team rep, especially due to injuries that have paved the way for him to receive starting snaps earlier than expected. And also, undrafted free agent rookie Keith Cooper appears to be winning a rep every time I look up, as that is what Colton Pouncey said, as it appears that he could be a player that the team could turn to for interior help. So that's one name to keep an eye on the defensive line. And also on Terrion Arnold, he also said that he has been arguably the most impressive player in camp. You can count the number of catches he's allowed in team periods on one hand, and even when he does allow one, though, he's right there for the tackle, giving receivers little breathing room, as Terrion Arnold entering his 2nd season with the Lions. And the secondary could really be the strength of this Lions defense going into this next season. They got 2 all-pro caliber safeties, also DJ Reed, Terrion Arnold, who was a young player on the rise, obviously. Then also Amik Robertson, who really shined late in the season, who should be the Lions' nickelback. But obviously, you can have all this talent and everything, but you still got to deal with the injuries, and that's what caught the Lions last season. But the Lions have been cautious with the injuries here throughout training camp so far. There's been a lot of players leaving practice early, but some of it is because they are just, being cautious with the injuries. Some players that would be playing through the injuries, if they were playing in a real game, but they're being cautious with that. So those are some takeaways from the Detroit Lions training camp. And for my Detroit Lions fans out there, let me know which players you are most excited to see here this upcoming season for the Detroit Lions, as the Lions will kick off the preseason next week versus the Chargers in the Hall of Fame game on Thursday. Oh, and by the way, this past week was the last Thursday without football until February. Absolutely can't wait for this football season. But with that, that's going to wrap up this video. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, make sure to go ahead, drop a like, comment down below, and subscribe for more. I would greatly appreciate it. And other than that, hope you guys all have a great rest of your day. We will see you guys in the next video.